Hello all. So welcome back to the series of what's new in 2024 release wave 1. And as we are doing this for AI, Copilot features in business and today we'll talk about one more feature, which is the AI powered analysis with Copilot. Now, in the previous video, we have seen the chat feature, how it is being used, how you can utilize it. Now let's get into the real data. So let's open Business Central and let's get into it. So with Business Central 2024 release wave 1, on every list and worksheet page, you will have a AI powered capability to do analysis. Now, analysis is something which Microsoft was taking very seriously from the past two releases, and they were doing a lot to help customers and partners to get the relevant data out of the system based on all the data that you have. Now, as you know, lists are great to analyze the data, and then you, as a user, would like to kind of get that data into Excel so that you can pivot on it, you can do this. And for that, what Microsoft did in the previous releases is build this analysis feature. As soon as you get into it, you get an Excel feel and look of the data that you have in the system, and then using different things, you can start utilizing how you do it in Excel. And then on top of it, you can then export it as CSV or even as an Excel export, and it just downloads that file into your system, and then you can do better analysis in Excel if it needed. In this release, Microsoft went a step ahead into it, and they said, okay, maybe you are a user who is using Business Center who likes to see the data in Excel, but maybe, or at least people like me who are not advanced in Excel and they don't know how to kind of make sense of the data that is available into the system. Why not we build something with the power of Copilot to make at least people like me life easier? So let's get into it. So let's get into the item list because there is a lot of items here rather than getting into the customer list, which have a little less items. And I would like to analyze this list. So surely I can do it by getting into this button, trying to wrap my mind around how I do pivot, how I kind of make sense to that data. Or otherwise, I can come here on this button and do analyze list. Okay, let's click on it. What happens? So as soon as you click on analyze list, what happens? The AI powered analysis will be activated, which is happening with a new page type called prompt dialer. We'll talk about it into some of the future videos if it makes sense. But this is where you start typing what you want, and then it helps you. So first, let's try with a very simple list, and let's say, okay, I want to show item inventory and unit cost. Okay, and let's hit generate. What will happen now? They'll try to translate your human readable input or the prompt that you have given and will translate it into an analysis view, which it did now. So now you can see that the item number is available, quantity on hand is available, and even the unit cost is available. Now, having said that, let me just delete all this so that we can start working on this. And it also happened. So let me just delete it and go back to the list, if that makes sense. Okay, let's try typing the same query again so that we can get back into it, which is show item inventory and unit cost. Now I know the field name because I'm here in the Excel and I can see certain fields, and I started with a very basic query and said show me the item inventory and unit cost, and it did that. It showed me the item number, quantity on hand, and unit cost. Now I'm not good with numbers. I might need item name, so I can keep continue on the same conversation and say add item description after item number. Okay, let's see what happens. Based on the output that was generated earlier by AI, it'll just add things into it. So now it's just added the description into it. Now I would like to see, okay, hide items where inventory or where, yeah, inventory is 0. Okay, let's see what happens. Now what I'm trying to tell it to kind of hide the rows where quantity on hand is 0, and you see it made that change. And maybe it is wrong, and you can verify it by coming into analysis filter here and see that it was able to translate the quantity on hand to 0 when I said the inventory is 0. Okay, now let's say I would like to do this, but I would also like to group this data by vendors. Okay, let's see what happens now. There's a field on item card called vendor number, so it should be able to understand what I want, and it did that by grouping that data based on the vendor number. So what's happening is I'm still in that conversation, and the beauty is it's still recording whatever the conversation that I did, right? So if you notice here, it says 4 out of 4. That means I have asked kind of 4 times to AI what I want. And the beauty is I can actually go back into whatever I have asked. I can see the prompt, I can see what responses has been generated, and whatever makes sense to me, I can just continue that conversation from there. So it kind of keeps the history that you're in conversation with it, and then apply the filter. But as I said in the previous video, and I'll repeat it, AI is your co-pilot in Business Central. And Copilot means it'll just suggest you based on whatever the machine learning capabilities it have. So what you'll notice that till now, this has not been saved, and that is represented by this dotted line under the name of it. And you still have to press keep it if this is what you want. If there's something else that you want, you can just discard it and start from scratch. Or if there is a next step to it, then you can continue that conversation and keep adding to it. So then let's say if I want to keep it, I'll just keep it, and the underlines and gone, and it is saved. Now, not just that, I can do other things with it. So let's say if I click on it, we saw this prompt dialog, a prompt guide here. In this, it tells you what all you can do. You can add the structure into it, which is group by X, group by Y, so, and pivot on. You can do custom sorting and filtering on different columns that you have in the data. And then you can even adjust the layout. You can freeze some columns if needed. You can remove a field with dates, or you can rename the tab. Like if I don't like the name here, group by vendor, I can change that. So what I can do here is I can then either manually change it if it makes sense, whatever the name I want to give, or if I'm in the conversation, I can even try doing that. Okay, now this view is saved, the analysis view is saved, and as soon as you get into the analysis view, it'll show you that view which has been saved. So you can either type it into the natural language as you did, or utilize the prompt to understand what kind of queries I can make. Now let's see another example of it before I let kind of this video close, which is let's go into the customer ledger entries, and this time let's understand the power of the prompt. And there's a lot of data into it, so I can actually go in here and say analyze my list, which should pop up a window, and then write a text. Let's say let's think about it. Okay, group data based on document type, okay, and customer name. And I'm not savvy in Excel or the whole analysis mode, so I'm just trying to type it. Show fields, let's say customer name and due amount. Only show rows with remaining amount greater than 0. Pivot data in column as year. And then I would like to utilize this also. So let me say rename tab. I have it copied, so I'll just paste it here. I did great. Thankfully, I did save it. So and rename tab to demo view. In this, what I'm doing is I'm giving it 4 or 5 different commands in one natural language format. The idea is that it should be able to do all this and then generate an analysis view for me, and the view name should be demo view at the end. So let's say generate. Let's see what happens. Because now the AI have to interpret it or understand all the commands that I'm giving it in one go and generate a view for me. Now it's preparing. If you notice, the name came as demo view. I told it to group the data based on document type and customer name. So if I come here, it tells me the document type and customer name. Then I told it to only show rows with remaining amount greater than 0. So let's see on the filter. Did it apply the filter? Yes, it did. So it says remaining amount greater than 0. Then I also told it to pivot the data in column as year. So now you can see how much a customer have to kind of pay you based on different years. And you can do it based on quarters, based on months, whatever works for you, right? And then at the end, I told it to rename the tab to demo view, which all is done. So what it is doing, it is taking either one single big set of statements that you want to kind of process it by the AI, or you can do it step by step as we did on the item list. In both the ways, your output remains same. It just keeps adding into the conversation if you're doing it one by one. And as I said in the previous video, or I say it any other video, the AI generated content must be maybe incorrect, not must be, maybe incorrect. And you can train the model behind the scene by using the thumbs up, which is yes, I like the output, or thumbs down, that no, this is a incorrect output. And the model will train from it. Now, to understand it, that how you can use the analysis features with AI in Business Central, remember there is a set of permissions that needed to utilize this feature. Your administrator will be able to assign you those permissions if needed to utilize the analysis, AI powered analysis with Copilot. So as I said during the video, you follow the same drill. If you like the content, hit the like button. Otherwise, feel free to hit the dislike button. We'll be happy with it. If you think this is important and others should know about it, share it on your social media and educate other people who are busy like you and me. And if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel, because we are going to come back with more and more content about Business Central this year and hopefully going forward into the future. Till then, keep learning and keep sharing. I'll see you sooner than later in the next video in this series, and have a great day. Thanks.